Well, we have some breaking news because, according to reports, the US and Russia plan a truce deal to cement Putin's gains in Ukraine. Now, this is actually a huge, huge story. This could be massive and it could actually help with food costs, with energy costs, with everything we are buying here in the United States. This could actually improve everyone's future simply by getting Russia and Ukraine to stop fighting. Now, here's what you need to know. There have been reports of hundreds of thousands of deaths versus millions of deaths between Russia and Ukraine together, combined. But the reason why I'm even bringing this up, what the United States and Russia are planning, Ukraine may actually reject this. They may say, no, we are not going to do it because we've lost too many lives. But look what the United States and Russia are considering. Look at this right here. It says Washington and Moscow are aiming to reach a deal to halt the war in Ukraine that would lock in Russia's occupation of territory seized during its military invasion. This is according to the People. Okay? It says the United States and Russian officials are working toward an agreement on territories for a planned summit meeting between Presidents Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin as early as next week. It says the U.S. is working to get buy-in from Ukraine and its European allies on the deal, which is far from certain. What we have heard from Ukraine in the past is that they are open to different ideas to stop Russia from attacking them. But they don't want to give up any of their territory. They want to hold on to what they say is theirs. They also want to be included into NATO at some point. President Donald Trump was very clear that no, you will not be included into NATO ever. So that right there, I think we took that off the table. But look at this right here. This is what Russia is demanding. It says Vladimir Putin is demanding that Ukraine cede its entire eastern Donbas region to Russia, as well as Crimea, which Russian forces illegally annexed in 2014. It says that would require Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to order a withdrawal of troops from parts of the Luhansk and the Donetsk regions still held by Kyiv. It says handing Russia a victory that its army couldn't achieve militarily since the start of the full-scale invasion in February 2022. So this has gone on for over 3 years. We are coming up on 4 years. Here's the reason why this is huge. Russia doesn't have the ability to go and win this war. Not alone. Same time, Ukraine doesn't have the ability on its own to withstand these attacks from Russia. It's only because the European Union, it's because the United States. That's the only reason why. Okay? But I want to read this. It says right here, such an outcome would represent a major win for Putin, who has long sought direct negotiations with the United States on terms for ending the war that he started, sidelining Ukraine and its European allies. Zelensky risked being presented with a take-it-or-leave-it deal to accept the loss of Ukrainian territory, while Europe fears it would be left to monitor a ceasefire as Putin rebuilds his forces. Okay. That is one of the concerns, is that could we see this ceasefire? Could this drag out? Because again, Vladimir Putin and Russia, if this deal were to go through and Ukraine accepts it, which again, we don't know, but if this were to go through, this means Russia has more territory. They gained ground. Okay? That's a win for Russia. And then on top of that, Ukraine can't strike Russia. Russia can't strike Ukraine. what Russia can do then, and this is what the European Union is concerned with, is Russia would then be able to take its time, right? Rebuild its military. That's a concern. Now, how would people in the United States benefit from this? That's the one question that I've been getting quite a bit lately. Is Donald Trump going to end this war? And if he does, how does that benefit us here in the United States? Well, here's what I can tell you. It would actually lower energy costs. Sanctions on Russian oil and gas, this is one of the things that have contributed to higher prices because we sanctioned Russia. And keep this in mind as well. Didn't we just impose higher tariffs on India because they were buying Russian oil? Okay, they're trading with Russia. So everyone keeps asking the same question. How does the United States benefit? Why is President Trump getting into the middle of this? First off, the United States has already been in the middle because President Biden put us there. Okay, he said from the beginning, prices are going to rise. We need to just be prepared for that. They're going to rise for a short period of time, but that's okay. We are prepared. Nobody was prepared. The prices of oil and gas still higher than what they were. So these would come down. Not only would we see oil prices come down, this means transportation costs become less expensive. Food becomes less expensive, right? That's huge. So energy costs to heat your home, that becomes less expensive. But here's the next one. Again, Russia, any country that's trading with Russia is going to see a higher tariff. President Trump has said that himself. With that said, if Russia doesn't have any sanctions and the United States is now directly trading with Russia, guess what? Other countries can do it too, which means we don't see higher tariffs on them as a result. If that's the case, that means prices are not going to rise as quickly as they have been. That's a big one right there. Here's another one though. Okay? The geopolitical tensions that we're facing over the past several years, if lifting sanctions on Russia happens, this is going to de-escalate the situation, de-escalate tensions between Russia, the United States, other countries as well. And right there, this is going to make the global trade and just the global economy more stable. So right now, this is huge. Okay? The fact of the matter is this. They are going to talk. They are going to consider all options. But Ukraine is the big question mark. Does Ukraine accept this deal or not? Based off what we are hearing, there's people that are open to the idea, but it's not a done deal. So the fact that the United States and Russia plan a truce deal in the next week, and the United States is okay with giving Russia the land that they've occupied in Ukraine, now Ukraine just has to accept it. That's what we don't know. So as we get more information on this and as we figure out whether this is going to go through or not, I promise I'll bring you all the latest news and updates as soon as we get them. As of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.